All right, Harry. So let's just start this. Hey, everybody. This is the Jason Hodge. I'm here with Harry the Big Jug Jamerson, and we are
Not
not
only simulcasting here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and the rest, we are on Clubhouse as well. We're talking about building your network through building relationships. So, for those of you who are watching online, go ahead and invite your followers, invite your community. For those of you who are on Clubhouse, go ahead and ping some folks into the room because we're going to have a very healthy dialogue and just talking about relationship, how you build relationship, how you grow your business doing that, and how that opens the door for you to get on platforms that are going to add more value to the lives of those that you serve on those platforms as well. Matter of fact, Shauna and I have Chef Shauna, who's in the room. She probably can't talk right now, but we had a great day on Sunday doing just that, building relationship. We headed up to a restaurant in Seattle and we met one of the chefs that we know here on Clubhouse. And it was an awesome meeting. The food was amazing, to say the very least. And in all of that, he ended up tagging her in a post that not only shared the image of the king cake that she brought him, which it's to live for. Okay, you don't want to die for this one, you want to live for this one. But it just shows how a small gesture like that can really make all the difference in the world. And this very point is what I wanted to talk to Harry about because Harry is literally the master of follow up. Years ago, when Harry and I met, we met at an event in Vegas. It was a business event, and him, Chris, and myself, we all met there, connected there. We've been friends ever since. And there was we would do these mastermind calls. And I remember this one year, and I'm not sure, Harry, was it my birthday or something, or something else?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
hear me.
yeah, I could hear you.
I think it was your birthday.
Okay, so Harry sends me a picture, right, a card, and on the card it had this picture of him with these really funny glasses on, this hat, and then inside of the card though there was a screenshot of our mastermind. And I thought, wow, he caught the mood of the day, and he had a caption there and all of that. And that card, I remember, and it was years ago that he did this, but that card, I was like, wow, that sealed the deal because to me, it showed that he wasn't just reaching out because, hey, I know I could build my business. It was a memory that we all shared that he connected that memory to in this card. And I thought, man, I need to learn how to do this. Eric, how you doing, bro?
What's up,
I
Eric?
need to I need to get on that page myself. So Harry, can you speak to that a little bit? You do this, and that is what you have done, and you have built lives and relationships and business over the years doing exactly that and then some. Uh, let's talk about that. What is it that started you doing that, and how have you continued doing that over the years? What's been the outcome of that?
You making me giving away my
I'm
secrets.
trying to have you give away your secrets. Exactly.
One of the reasons I do what I do is because I want to stand out in your mind. I want to stand out in Shauna's mind. I
Mhm.
want to stand out not in everybody's together, everybody individually. I want to make it seem like it's just us.
Mhm.
I love being special.
Right.
I like sending out cards because I think that's special. On birthdays, I could have talked to you the other day about nonsense,
Mhm.
but I like to call on birthdays. That is a special day for you
Right.
and everybody who has a birthday. It's a special day.
Mhm.
That's that's one of the reasons why I do what I do.
Mhm. Mhm. Got it. Your background, you got a military background, And you were there for 26 and a half years.
Correct.
Correct. You have to get that half in there. And you had quite a few functions, jobs that you had in there. And there was something that you said to me years ago that has never left me in relation to your desire now to connect with people and bring them a sense of joy. And I don't know if that is the premise how you do all of what you do now in relation to connecting with people, or if that just played a major role. You know, let's dive into that real quick because I think that it's significant.
You're talking about when I used to work at the casualty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know me, and there's a lot of you who don't know, I was in the military for 26 and a half years. And one of my last jobs I did was casualty notification.
Mm-hmm.
That's when soldiers get injured or killed, and we have to notify the families. So, my man, it still gets to me.
Yeah.
Um, ooh, sorry about this.
Take a moment, take the time you need, bro.
One of the like I said, my job function was to inform the family members that, you know, their family member, husband, wife, son, daughter,
Yeah.
was injured or killed. So that kind of sparked me. I was already that way in reaching out to people with their birthdays and everything,
Right.
but that really got to me where this person, and you can hear the hurt in them,
Mm-hmm.
and just to reach out. Then I used to call just to check on them, off hours. I met
Right.
up with a few people who got injured, and they were just like so appreciative. And from then, my appreciation grew to make sure you're okay, to make sure you are good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the personality I have. And sending out cards and making sure you're recognized on your birthday or special days or your anniversary. That's my way of doing my job all over again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. What has been the response? I mean, aside from mine, mine was obvious, but what's been the response? Has mine been pretty consistent when you get feedback from folks when you reach out to them?
Yes.
Okay.
It's it's one of the things where, thank you for calling. And you
Hmm.
don't know when people are going through stuff. That's why I reach out. One of the other things I do, I reach out to, I got separate groups of people, my childhood people, my military people, and the people I met in the last 15 years. And every 5 or 6 weeks, even if it's just a text message to say, hey, just checking on you. Because people go through things and they don't like to tell.
Hmm.
And what's that?
Oh
Oh,
no, I was just responding to Eric.
yeah.
Yeah.
People go through things and they just don't like to mention it to anybody. They think they're bothering people and all that, but you're not.
Hmm.
You're really not. And I reach out and I catch people on different times of their life, and they're so appreciative of, man, thank you for calling.
Right.
Thank you for reaching out. And that keeps me in their life.
Hmm.
Just like how we met.
Hmm.
We me and Jason only met once.
That shocks me.
17.
That shocks me even to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like we have, interacted and been at each other's places and all that. You know each other's families for all these years, and it's been that one time in Vegas.
Yeah, just one
One
time. And I
time.
reached out to everybody because I know some people have great intentions, but
Right.
you don't reach if I feel if I don't reach out first,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably not. You get lost in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I reach out and I reach out constantly.
Right.
If I see you're not reaching back out to me, then I let it go
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you're just beating a dead horse at that time.
Right.
But when you respond and then we connect, we get on a call, we
Mm-hmm.
talk, we do a Zoom meeting, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're talking about years later
Yeah.
where we're still connected.
Exactly.
It's like we it's just like we picked up a time in our life and it went from there. We
Mm-hmm.
was boys ever since.
Mm-hmm. 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 What does that look like when it translates out to business? Because here it is. Now we have worked projects together.
Hmm.
Since then, I mean, we just the most recent one was Veterans Laughs Matter.
Yep.
And that was like years of cultivation of just connecting, going over technology stuff together. Harry, if you all didn't know this and haven't heard me talk about it before, when I have tech challenges or deep tech questions, I will reach out to Harry and say, hey, I'm running into this, what's that look like? And so he'll walk me through or troubleshoot it from his side. So it's, there's all these multiple layers, and you have that inside of your connections of untapped potential if you don't take the time to really explore who it is inside of your network. You know, don't know that unless you reach out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm still
Yeah, I know. It's
when I talked about the casualty thing,
yeah.
but with the relationships with businesses,
Hmm.
you stay top of mind.
Right.
I had this customer when I was fixing computers in the Northern Virginia area. I had a customer who was a realtor.
Hmm.
And after I fixed her computer, since I already had her address, I
Hmm.
sent her a card. And I
Nice.
did sort of the same thing. I sent her a card of her broke piece in the computer.
Mm.
And she tells everybody that story.
Hmm.
My computer guy did this for me.
Right.
You should talk to my computer guy when you have issues.
Hmm.
So, you get bragging rights from people who just appreciated that because nobody else did it.
Hmm.
A simple phone call can mean the world to somebody,
Exactly.
especially like I said already, if you catch them at that time where they feel like, and we all go through it. We
Hmm.
all go through times where I just ain't feeling it today. And
Right.
somebody out of the blue calls you and you have that conversation and you get off that phone smiling.
Hmm.
And now everything is better. Whatever happened prior to that phone call is better. Not that
Right.
it went away, but it's better.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what reaching out and connecting on a deeper level does.
Hmm. Have you ever seen it fail?
Yes.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised by you. That's like a
Yes. These same
Mhm.
people in Northern Virginia,
Right.
while I'm there, I don't live in Northern Virginia anymore. I live in the
Mhm.
Hampton Roads part of Virginia, Virginia Beach area. Uh, when I left that area and I couldn't do what I normally do and did,
Mhm.
the phone call stopped,
Mhm.
everything. So It's not foolproof, but when it works, it works.
Right. Well, I tell you, for me, and I'll say this and then, and by the way, just a quick reset. This is Mastering Your Media, the series, and we're talking about relationships. You're cultivating relationships, your follow up and your follow through when you are building deeper and stronger bridges in your network. When you don't do it, then you got to work really hard because you've got to now every time that you've got something coming up, you've got to drive that ship to make sure that people know about it and all that. When you do it right, though, you've got a whole network of people who are looking out for your best interests. So they catch all the stuff that you may have missed because they genuinely care about you because you have shown that you genuinely care about them. So I'm going to say this real quick, and then we'll open up the floor for all of you who want to come up and participate in the conversation. I just wanted to level set and give a backdrop of how I know Harry to be the ultimate connector and what I have learned over the years because of how it is that I see him operate on a normal basis. So I share with you, that connection there. There are a few people that you see around Clubhouse that we share that as well, and it is looking at how can we always make sure that what they're doing, that they've got the best representation possible, they've got the best resources in hand, and that comes again because of that. It's just reciprocal, it's that back and forth. You know that when you've got people in your network who are always looking out for you, you don't have a hesitation for looking out for them. And not because you're getting something, it's just that it creates this bond that you just want to see them win, you know? And so we've got this group, Harry, Chris, Seth, myself. We want to see each other win. And so I want to encourage you all, if you're not doing this, make sure that you are. So I'm going to start inviting folks to the floor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Harry, if you see them raising their hands, please go ahead and bring them up because oh, okay. Let me see. I will start to bring them up then.
I do have a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go
It's
for
a
the
weird
question.
one.
Uh-huh.
But what do you say when you don't know what to say?
Here's what I do. I just say, you know what? I really don't know what to say, but I know that I definitely want to, reach out to you. And sometimes that honesty to let them know that you don't have the words right now,
Hmm.
I think that humanizes the conversation
It
because,
does.
yeah,
And that's a conversation starter.
it sure is.
And feeling the same way, like, man, I didn't know what to say about you either.
Right.
And that's a conversation starter.
Absolutely. Okay, well, so we've got Shonda on the floor. Shonda, again, met her here on Clubhouse. She has been amazing in what it is that she has just added. Every time that we run into each other on Clubhouse, she's just adding tons of value. Dazzling, same thing. Chef Dana, Roz. So, Shonda, welcome. Please introduce yourself to everybody and let's have a conversation.
Well, hello, Jason. You are always so kind. Hi, Harry. Hey, Daslin and Chef Dana and Roz. Thank you for having me up here. And so, of course, Jason, anything that you're doing, if I'm available, I want to be a part of it and hear the amazing gems you're dropping. So, I actually came into the room to just see what the topic was about. But
But
I
I
am
am Shonda Allison. I'm a homeschool mom of two baby boys, 8 and 9. I'm also a purpose coach as well as a health and wellness coach where I help people reclaim their health. I'm a minister of the gospel, a pastor's wife, child. I am everything to everybody.
Right.
Woo!
man,
Now, that being said, I'm just here to learn all that I can from you amazing people. So I'm just kind of listening in right now, Jason, but thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And now I want to introduce this power couple. uh, Daslin and Giovanni. I don't know which one is on today, but whichever one, they're amazing. They have come into the spaces that I've been in, whether it's Homeschool Central or Mastering Your Media, and have always added such value. So
Excuse me,
they
Jason.
are not only awesome
Excuse me,
folks.
Jason. I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I didn't want to come up. I just wanted to let you know that we hear a lot of feedback, and I think it's because one of you guys aren't Mike as you're talking. So I barely heard what Sharonda said. I left
Oh,
the room and thought it was my phone at first, and I came back in.
gotcha. Okay, thanks, Chanel. Thanks. Let me. I'm gonna mute you out real quick, Harry, and then when you're ready to unmute, just pop back in. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. So Chanel, let me know if that helped. If so, just raise your hand. I won't bring you back up. Okay. I see a thing. Okay, for Dana. Okay, good stuff. All right. Okay, good stuff. Thanks so much. All right. So Daslin or Giovanni, whichever one it is, please introduce yourself. High value folks right here. I love every time that they come in and add value.
You got us both.
All right.
Hi,
Hey.
Sue.
Hey,
Hi,
y'all.
everyone. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what has the whole relationship building looked like for you as well?
So, relationship building
Mhm.
on a professional scale or between us both? Because we are in a relationship and we run a company together.
Actually, you could talk to both of them.
Oh, okay. So,
Mhm.
let me just be the first one to step out and say this, right?
Mhm.
If there are any gentlemen in the audience or on stage who you're contemplating having a business with your significant other,
Mhm.
what I want you to do, first thing I want you to do, check your ego at the door. My wife basically activated the entrepreneurial side of me
Mhm.
and showed me that there was so much more that I could do, but I always thought I was a businessman. So I
Right.
thought because I'd been working for so many other people that I knew what I knew. I come to a realization at one point, like just have a come to Jesus moment when I sat down and I said, babe, you know what? I realized that I don't really know as much as I thought I did. So I want to learn from you because I had always been corporate and my wife had always been an entrepreneur. So I just thought I was just transitioning. And I didn't really realize the weight of what I was telling myself that I was going to do.
Right.
So I had to learn that. And I realized in that moment that communication is pivotal. It is vital. So, yeah, the building of the relationship, it has been a task on both ends because, as you would see, you're in a relationship. The relationship is perfect. So what you'll find is that your personal private relationship can also impact on your professional relationship. However, my wife has always been one thing, if not diplomatic. So we could have an argument right now, and then in 10 minutes, when we know that we're going to walk in a conference room, well, pre-COVID, we would have to buck it up, walk in there, present a professional front, and then wow, everyone has walked out.
Right.
It goes like me going, don't you dare walk in there, show your emotions on your face. Because I could fix it up, but he holds on to it a bit more. I'm like, better let it go.
Right.
But I definitely feel like communication is definitely the foundation for everything. Once you can really talk to your partner about everything, you can listen to your partner because that's a major part of communication. Some of us are struggling with the listening, taking on board what they're saying, adjusting, adapting, admitting that you're wrong is something that I struggled with. But it has to be done. So it's definitely think about, how you want to be and taking the steps to make your relationship like that. And, as well, much as looking after yourself, you also have to look after your partner. But what a lot of people forget is your mental health is absolutely crucial to have a productive and happy relationship.
Very true. Very true. I love that. Thank you so much, Chef Dana. Welcome to the stage. Chef Dana, I met him again here on Clubhouse, and we had a really great conversation on Red Velvet Crumbles when it came to just all the stuff that happens behind the scenes when it comes to food television. And so, yeah, we had a real geeky conversation around that. And so, Chef Dana, welcome to the floor. What is your share?
My share is really just a comment. And thank you, Jason, for inviting me, bringing me up. Always a pleasure to talk with you, sir. What I loved was that when Harry and you talked about being a connector. And I know a lot of times being a connector, some people will look at it from the outside and feel as though, oh, you're giving up too much, or you're, you know what I mean, letting people jump in front of you and so forth. And the reality is, no, you're not. You're connecting people in their purpose. And you'll find it always comes back to you. Always comes back to you. You just can't expect it to come back to you in that moment.
That's right.
But as long as you do right and you connect those dots that need to be connected, and they're able to prosper, I'm telling you, when their cup overflowing, it runs right down into your cup.
Nice.
Every time. So for anybody listening, don't be afraid to be a connector. If you know that this person over here needs to talk to this person over here, they have it.
Beautiful. Love that.
It comes right back around.
Love that. And Roz, okay, y'all. Now let me tell you, I've known Roz for many years. She's amazing. Here on Clubhouse, she's known as the Clubhouse Auntie, but off, she is known as my sister. She's just amazing people. We have been faithpreneurs together in these faithpreneur streets, doing all the faithpreneur weekends and doing a lot of the behind the scenes with Dr. Stacy NC Grant. Roz, welcome to the floor. What is your share?
Well, I didn't get to hear all the wonderful things that you were talking about, but good afternoon. My name is Roz Knight in Warfield. And yes, I am known as a Clubhouse auntie, and I encourage Kingdom Encouragers to help others do their best. And that's what Jason does. But because I heard the dynamic dual team share, I want to say that after 29 years, and my brother, I appreciate you being very authentic with your wife and acknowledging her accolades. My husband got stuck in a snowstorm. We have a business and have been in trucking for over 30 years, and both of us have been in transportation for 40 years. I was with the airlines and with FedEx. And one of the things that we have to make sure as a wife, first, I had to learn the birthright order. I'm the eldest sibling, so that meant my mouth would go much more as a wife. My husband was the youngest, even though he's older than me. So I want to share that anybody who is on here, think about what's happening if your husband is saying something to you and you're always taking charge as a wife, or even as, a fiance or as a girlfriend, and you're looking forward to getting married. So make sure that is like an innate being, because I was the eldest child. So I would take the lead because I didn't have a big brother or big sister to lead, and it went over into my marriage. So I want to say, make sure you're aware of that. And the other part is always be authentic, as my brother, Jake, to say his name, because I want to keep calling my brother. The dynamic duo.
Oh, there's Dazzlin and Giovanni. Yeah, Giovanni is the husband. Dazzlin is the wife.
With Daz is Boaz. That's how I'm going to say it that way. Daz is Boaz. To be authentic, to be respectable, and always be in prayer. Knowing the Father, even though we're responsible for our vertical alignment, each of us is responsible for our vertical alignment, and we have to do an excavation every single moment of the day of being a spiritual archaeologist, just for us to stay intact to the principles of the fruit of the Spirit, and then trust God's movement to take us horizontal, even when it comes to our spouse, when it comes to our children, when it comes to the job. And when we do that, we grow, and we're able to be more suited in discipline of seeking out the highest good in each individual, and that would be love. So I'm delighted that I've come into the room. I've been missing out on Jason's room because I have a clubhouse quota. And I said, I'm not missing Jason for the month of March. And I just happened to look at the phone, Jason, and I've come in. So I know that you're a relational currency individual and that you're the leader, and I'm building legacy with your boys. I love that. And being able to be a community advocate in every aspect that you see where you can fit in. And I think Jason is a puzzle piece of life and relational currency that he can fit into any of our lives. He has awesome shows and he has a pure heart of wanting to do good for God's children. So Jason, I appreciate you. I do have a 3:35, but a 3:30. I told them I would be running a little behind. And I wanted to come into the room because I've been missing out coming into your rooms. And I thank you for all your support that you have done in Trucking God's Way, the Smile Genius, and raw, real, and relevant conversations with millennials through the generations. So I appreciate y'all. But y'all learn each other, respect each other, and guess what? The perspective of each individual. If someone says the sky is red, y'all don't waste your energy and fight them. Just go into prayer. Just go into prayer because everybody has the right to their perspective. We don't have to be opinionated and we don't have to be judgmental. Thank you, brother. I love you.
Love you too. Love you too. All right. So let's talk about that. The relationships. So you all are growing your relationships. Dazzlin and Giovanni, you all talked now about the spouse to spouse. What does it look like business to business and follow up and all of that? How are you all managing that?
Okay, so where that's concerned, we give each other space because we treat, or to a certain degree, some people would think that because we sometimes have the same clients that we, share clients' information. Like even in the household, we don't. So it's like, we want our clients to expect a certain level of integrity from us. So like if my wife had a meeting with a client and they said something that they don't say to me when we're in marketing, I don't. So it's not my business because it's obviously something that they didn't really feel comfortable sharing with me, right? Because they might just not have the same connection with me. So we resonate with their clients and we treat them like family, but at the same time, we still respect them enough to maintain separate boundaries across each person. So I have my office, she has hers. We go across sometimes, and we might cross-pollinate clients. Sometimes we don't. I still have my own clients that she does not have any contact with. Likewise, she has hers that I do not know about. And it is good to be able to set those hard boundaries when you work together, even with your clients themselves too. So unless it is 100% necessary for my client to have any kind of interaction with my wife, then they never even see that side of the business.
For me, I think it's really crucial to have respect for each other and to be able to switch off during those hours when we're working. I have to be able to switch off the part of me that wants to say, don't tell me what to do.
Right.
Because things need to get done. We need to delegate. We both have roles to play. So I'm more like the business development and, doing marketing strategies and all that stuff. Whereas he's more the tech side. He's really good at building websites and things. So it's important to know your partner and play to their strengths so that you can empower them to do better in their area and vice versa. So he does the same for me. I pour into him, he pours back into me, and together we work really well. But that line of how effective communication so that you can actually boss your partner around without making them realize they're being bossed around. So I could be nice and say, my husband, sometimes he doesn't work at the same speed as me because I'm like, okay, we've got this to do, let's get it done. Whereas he's like, oh, well, I've got a week, I can do this and that. And he's a bit more laid back. And I'm like, no, let's wrap this up. Then we have time, we can move on. So sometimes I use the night time. I'm like, honey, could you come and do this for me, please? Or I'm going to my office, you go to yours, or I'll set a little task. I'm like, hey, whoever finishes first is not going to cook dinner today.
Right.
Whatever it is,
but we kind of do, bring a fun element to working together as well, because often now we're working together at home in just two different offices. But it's also important, rather than like, for example, if I find that he's made an error or vice versa, it's not like, oh, you've done this wrong. It's more like, hey, perhaps you should do it this way, or can I see how it would look in this color, or things like that. So I definitely feel like you can empower someone to work more effectively just by using the right words, the right terminology, and not obviously acting off emotion because when you're thinking about their response to you, because sometimes his face says it all, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to hear what the mouth's gonna say, but I have to.
Love it, love it. Vaishi, how are you doing? Okay, let me introduce Vaishi. She's another amazing soul here. Met her on Clubhouse in the food space. We run into each other in Chef's Corner and in Food and Beverage Magazine and a few other places. And Vaishi has stretched out, and she is doing her thing with Asma, I think, right? You guys have a room that you host?
Yes.
So Vaishi, please introduce yourself and share your value on relationships and cultivating relationships in business.
I am Vaishi. I just began my culinary artistry journey. I just did my first event. A lot of lessons learned. But I follow Dazzlin, and I don't I don't hear much from her. I know they are duo. But from their Instagram, but I bump into rooms together, and it's just amazing to hear all these things from them.
Yes.
And I can relate to them because me and my husband, we both have a very similar harmony in our relationship. And look, intelligent people will always have diverse opinions.
Right.
And what I like about them too is that despite of having these diverse opinions and ideas, they somehow find the balance to see whose opinion at that particular moment has a better value. So me and my husband also do that. So correct me if I'm wrong, Dazzlin, and I don't know his name, so I'll just say Dazzlin. But yeah, so I think that is both me and my husband, we find a lot of balance in that, like the honesty to understand which idea will get us better results and provide us whatever we are trying to accomplish. So that's we both have the clarity of that. And ego, what Dazzlin said, ego, absolutely, you gotta leave that someplace else, not in the house, not in your relationship. And yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna listen in. Thank you, Jason.
Quick question, Vaishi.
So much. I feel very supported by you and Harry. Harry, you have some amazing things to say to me, and your messages are very on point. And sometimes that is exactly what I want to hear at that time. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Chef Dana, good to see you.
People welcome, Ms. Patel.
Yes.
Your audio was great there, by the way, Harry. I got a question for you, Vaishi, before you leave. Okay, so when you talked about, leaving the ego, like how Dazzlin and Giovanni were talking about, was that something that you learned along the way, or did you all make that agreement coming into it from the beginning?
Well, I'm not leaving.
Oh,
Number one.
Oh, okay. I thought you were putting yourself back into the audience. I was like,
I'm going to stick it out.
Okay, good.
But no, ego. Some reason, a lot of people tell me, and I never realized that. And I still I think it's a blessing that I never realized that. But a lot of my friends and family, over the period of time, they told me that they don't find me egoistic. And but some reason, not knowing that I'm not egoistic, always I made sure that I checked on myself. So I feel like it's never too late. It's never too late. And I do feel that I try to make conscious observation on what I say, what I think, and so it's never too late. In our relationship, we've been through. All couples go through a lot of friction, and especially, like I said, intelligent, opinionated, emotional people. We all go through that.
I've seen relationships. I come from India, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen relationships where, one person is literally just like a piece of furniture,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
they give into everything, and they are like this docile spouse. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in that works for them. And I see and so people from India, they come to US and they're like, oh my God, in US the divorce rate is so high.
Mm-hmm.
What I appreciate about the divorce rate being so high is people are very honest here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not everybody, but most people are very honest. They know what they want. They know where happiness lies in. And, so I'll give you a quick example. I don't want to take, this is your room. I don't want to take over, but I think this is very essential for your audience to hear.
Right.
So we knew this young lady. She got engaged with this beautiful boy. They both were doing really well. They loved each other and this and that. A week before, she broke off the engagement. And, everybody was wondering what was going on. But then, this is a close family. We found out that he had, hid $10,000 in credit card debt from her. Didn't tell her at all.
Wow.
10 or 20,000, or it was like something like that. It might have been a small amount, but for her threshold for that kind of hiding was very low. And I think maybe she had concerns where these kind of behaviors can lead to habitual lying and hiding, and she didn't want to take the chance. If that was the young lady in India, she would have put up with that. So there are the fine line of how far you put up with some of the things that are not strengthening your relationship or will not strengthen you. As at the end of the day, right? Lies, manipulations, hiding, those things do not strengthen your relationship.
True.
So, right. So she broke up the engagement. I mean, she didn't get married, and the parents had spent $100,000 on all the planning and all, and she just walked away. So that is a really great example. And, so I don't look at divorces as anything bad. But there are ways, if I'll just say, right, and I don't look up to Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or, Denzel Washington or, any of those super famous people. But they all came from a place of nothing, and they built these empires of whatever they have today, right? If they can do that, I think relationship is not a very hard thing,
Right.
That's all I have to say. I'm done speaking. I want to hear from Dazzlin and everybody else too. Thank you for giving me this platform to speak.
Let me do a quick reset. Oh, Harry, you want to do the reset? So you want to do the reset?
Oh, for everybody who is here, this is the Jason Hodge Show, Mastering Your Media, and I am the co-star, aka Robin, aka Kato, Harry the Big Dog Jameson, and we are talking about relationships and building the relationships and sustaining them. That's, in my mind, the most important part is to sustain the relationship if it's a good one. If it's not, then you have to get rid of it. So, Jason.
That's funny. Thanks, bro. Hey, Christopher, how you doing, bro? And again, happy to you. Christopher is coming to the stage, and we'd love to hear from you. What do you have to share? And please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, it's nice to meet everyone here today. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm Christopher Burke. I am a graphic designer and just been here hanging out and just listening in. I was making lunch earlier, so I might have missed some things. Are we just talking about relationships?
Yeah, we're talking about what it looks like to build your relationships, business relationships, what have you, what that follow-up and sustaining that relationship looks like. What's your insight, your tips, your practices?
I think one of the most important things that I always look at when approaching relationships, number one is transparency. I think if you don't have transparency, you'll never build a very strong and relationship that will end up growing. You know, there's a lot of things that end up getting in the way of relationships, but the number one thing that I think that always ends up being the biggest problem is people that are just not transparent with each other, and people that put up a facade or think, this person might think less of me if I don't say this, or if I don't pretend to do this. And all of a sudden you build up this fake resume of yourself. That's not you. And then the true you starts to come out later on, and it's like, I thought you were that one guy you told me you were when I met you, and you really aren't.
Right.
And then that's where stuff starts to break down, and that's where loss of trust occurs. And once you lose trust, which is at the very foundational aspect of any relationship, things aren't going to go so well. You might just end up losing that person as a partner, as a client, a friend, a romantic partner, whatever it may be. So I think that's, really at the center of it all. It all goes back to transparency, which stems out to trust.
Nice. Love that.
Thank you for that, Christopher.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Jason, could I possibly comment on what Christopher just said?
Absolutely. You're kidding? This is an open conversation.
You know what's so funny? I said this today with a friend of mine. I said to her that what I've noticed is that inside of the space of time that we've come on the platform, we've watched people undergo this metamorphosis. And it really boils down to that transparency. We've met people who said, oh, I want to be like you. We're not really too focused on the money. And then in other circumstances, it becomes something different. And what we found is that people who even appreciated our genuine value that we would give in rooms that they hosted, the moment they decided that they wanted to monetize their rooms, we were kind of like almost indirectly disinvited because we're giving free value, but then turn that free value into money. So then it becomes, okay, so this is the new format. What we're going to do is we're going to try and keep it focused on our topic, essentially saying, don't give us too much of what you normally do.
Right.
For me, being how I am, I almost felt socially snubbed in a way.
Right.
This is who I am. I just want to give people value. I want people to grow from my experiences because I've been around for a while. I know it can be hard. Not everybody wants you to sell to them. Sometimes someone just wants you to listen and, just say that one thing that they need on that particular point in time instead of giving them a vague answer and say, click the link in my bio, And that level of transparency has slowly started to diminish, and then you start seeing who the person actually is. So you realize that even when you make relationships on Clubhouse even, give it time, because you might think, yes, I've hit it off with this person today.
Right.
And then 3 weeks down the line, you realize, no, we really don't resonate. We're not in the same tribe.
Very true. That's good.
They brought their representative.
Exactly.
And they're PR personnel.
Absolutely. And I'd like to introduce the third part of the team here, the Mr. Possibilitarian himself, Chris Gloss. We have known Chris for many years. He's just awesome, amazing people. Chris, please introduce yourself and whatever you have to share, bro.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, champion Jason, Harry, and all the other champions that are in the room today. It's a pleasure listening to Dazzlin and Christopher. I love listening to the insight and the wisdom, the nuggets you were just sharing. I'm Chris Gloss, known as the Possibilitarian. I help entrepreneurs answer the natural next question, now what? I help them by helping them remove the obstacles that stand in the way from where they are to where they want to be. And I'm absolutely loving this conversation and about relationships, because one of the things I'm focused on in 2021, it's all about thriving.
Right.
And I believe we can thrive and not just survive. And relationships is at the core of it. Relationships is at the center of it. And having positive, non-toxic, nourishing relationships will help all of us thrive, especially in 2021 with all we've already faced coming out of 2020, with all those challenges. Leaning on people that you can depend on. I remember hearing one of my mentors say the most dependable hands you could depend on are the ones at the end of your wrist. But that's only going to get you so far. You know, my relationship, I was reflecting on my relationship with Jason and Harry. Without those guys, there's no way I can do what I'm doing. And it takes relationships that are willing to pour into each other, recognizing that, you know, we all are going to be able to thrive and not just survive because of what we're pouring into each other. Like, I don't have to worry about what will Jason do for me? What will Harry do for me? I'm more interested, what can I do for Jason? What can I do for Harry? Right? Because that's the kind of bond that we have. We look at each other, we try to help each other succeed and go push past perceived limitations. So relationships that are looking to pour into you, I think, are extremely valuable, and those are the ones you nourish, right? You don't need to nourish relationships that aren't pouring into you or have misplaced expectations or always trying to take. I would choose rather to nourish those relationships that are healthy, and especially for your mental health and well-being in 2021, right? You're not going to be able to thrive with those people. So being able to thrive with champions like that are people that I look to connect to.
Thanks for the share, bro. Wow.
The check is in the mail.
Hey, you know what? I'm looking for it right now.
That's cool stuff.
No, just to add on to that, Chris, that we talked about how we all just met in Vegas the one time. I actually went to where you are, and we hung out for about a week. You know, that building of the relationship and the transparency, like Christopher talked about, and you know, being able to share things that you normally wouldn't share with somebody else, ideas that you haven't put out there, not fearing that one of us is going to take it and run with it and cut the other person out. You know, that's some strong bonding right there. So thank you.
No, thank you. But you tapped into something also there. And when you look around at your relationships, are you growing together? Or are you dying together? Right? What's in those what's in the relationships that you have? Sometimes you just have to take inventory. You have to look around. You got to answer this question. If somebody has a pen and pad, want to write this down. This is a powerful thing that I learned some years ago. You got to identify who can you count on and who do you need to count out. You got to identify who can I count on and who can I count out? I remember I was going through, after the death of a family member, I was going through a mental health challenge, dealing with depression and finding the will to continue. I had some friends that I thought was close to me, Harry. I mean, I thought we were bros. And they just walked away from me in those challenging times. Well, I hate to say they walked away from me because they were never with me. I misjudged those relationships, right? Those are people I can't count on. But then I had people like you and Jason that even when I didn't feel like talking, you would just leave a message. You would just call, you would just text. And at some point in time, you got to begin to take inventory and look around you and identify who can I count on, who can I count out. And I like something, I think it was Daslin or Christopher was talking about. It's about that adding value.
Right.
You know, when you think about, I'm in their lives because I show up because I want to add value. I don't look to take. I'm looking to give. What can I add value to? How can I show up in their lives, right? Because I want to be a sower in their lives.
Right.
I want to be a representation of somebody that's going to be there no matter what happens. And you're not going to have a lot of people like that in your life. I don't think that's going to happen because it takes time to develop deep relationship, right? So you may not have a lot, but you got to begin identifying who can you count on and who can you count out.
That's awesome.
And then let them out.
We're talking about mastering your media, and this is about relationships, growing and cultivating relationships and making them sustainable. I see, Todd, you have come to the floor. Todd, what do you have to share? Thank you for coming into the conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me up. And there's actually two reasons why I popped in here. And so I'll get one done here, revolving around the topic here, relationships. Definitely agree, definitely spot on. And I think that, I've been having a number of conversations revolving this topic lately over the past few days, and how this app, this platform, is changing certain things. And you know, as someone that's an entrepreneur that's has been in the marketing and sales game before, it's very interesting how this app, for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, using this platform, it is actually turning me off to the normal, the typical, I guess, like salesmanship, and the more that people try, the more I kind of pull away, more specifically on Clubhouse. And I was in a room probably about a week and a half ago, and I was in a room with a bunch of successful people, a bunch of New York Times best-selling authors. I'm in the middle of writing a book, and so it piqued my curiosity, right? And just the way that a few of the moderators came off, it was my time to talk. First of all, she interrupted me. She, was I felt kind of like dismissed. She had the audacity to pretty much have like 3 of her clients that she coaches, pretty much tell me kind of like, oh yeah, just do this, like suck it up. And, to be honest, well, first of all, I'm someone with PTSD. I don't need to hear suck it up. Right. That's number one. But number two, no, just the whole conversation, I didn't feel heard, and I didn't feel valued, and I felt like I was just another number to someone. And interestingly enough, there was somebody else in that room who understood how to talk to someone who has experienced trauma, who understood what I was trying to get to be heard. She had reached out to me in my DMs. She spoke to me very, authentically. We ended up jumping on a Zoom call. She eventually even pitched me a $2,500 retreat. I'm probably going to pull the trigger on that. So it's just interesting how this app is ultimately kind of changing things when it comes to that, because for me, it's allowing me to see the BS, to see the real authentic people just through voice. Right. And so that's interesting for me. And my second thing real quick, it's not necessarily about the topic, but I am going to be hosting a room, and I'm looking to record my first few rooms. So any way that you guys can give me some tips on how I go about doing that, that'd be helpful as well. So thanks, guys, and I'm done.
Okay, Todd. And when you say in recording your rooms, you mean like as far as broadcasting it elsewhere, like simulcasting, or you're talking about just?
No, just like kind of like.
Audio.
Yeah, kind of like a podcast recording.
Okay. Todd, just let me add something to what you were just saying. It is not everybody. Everybody is not a fake. Right. Just what Chris was saying. See who's you can count on or count out. And it does take time, but you do see. And sometimes the time is short. Like that situation you just said, where the person was over talking you and just treating you like a number. It's not everybody.
If I may, Todd, what you're gonna find is that a lot of these people, as you say, you met some very successful people. These people, they're not very successful, and I say that because their cup is not full. They're driven by the constant need to want to have, to want to take, right? And as entrepreneurs, when we came onto this platform, the very first thing that we noticed was that it was a marketing frenzy.
Right.
All of these successful, and I say that with air quotes, people were hosting these rooms where they were strategically bringing people in to position themselves and to run what I call a real-time live audio funnel to try and push you into buying something. And my wife and I, we literally had to have a discussion around Clubhouse. And what we said was, we make enough money by ourselves, so we're not going to be those people. We're going to market less and connect more, because in the experiment of what this app has become, I realized that even though it might not be the greatest and it's going to have its flaws like every other platform, what this experiment has done is to bring soul to social media. You can now listen to someone and you can hear that 1980s used car salesman running out of them. And then you can also listen to someone and you can connect with just the genuine nature of what it is that they are doing. You know,
Right.
When I go into rooms for people with ADHD and I'm giving them support and telling them, hey, you don't have a debilitating factor about you. Like, what you need to do is to figure out your own measures of control. And if you need an accountability partner, somebody who's gone over the hump, then, hey, send me a message when you feel low and I'll give you that push that you need. You know, we need to learn what human element really is. It's not flawed. It is deeper than we think, and it is supposed to be driven by community and how we connect. And that is what will bring us all over the hump.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, that's great. You know, and I think this is what it gets down to. There's so much anxiousness about things, you know, and you can feel it and you can hear it in how folks approach whatever it is that they approach. And when you are wanting to make sure that you are making that connection, the first thing you have to start is by listening, because you can't fix everybody's thing with this set of formulas. You actually have to hear where they're coming from. What is it that they really care about and why? Because you may be going the same direction, but your reason why is two entirely different things. One person may need something because they've got a sick child. And so they're at their wit's end and they now have to figure out how can they turn whatever is in their head into cash flow. Another person may be looking to acquire, you know, everything around them because they have this greed to feed or need to feed their greed, whatever. And some people just need that conversation. I love this app because it allows us to connect at a level, if you would allow yourself, okay, and that's the caveat there. If you would allow yourself to connect at that level of human, like how Giovanni was talking about, to be a human. Sometimes people just need that voice. They just need to know that somebody is there with them. I have enjoyed this app. I have seen the used car salesman. I have seen the rooms where they tell you the most profitable ways to market, and it sounds like the same thing that everybody else is hawking. And then there are those rooms where you get people who say, you know what, really, when you boil it all down, you're trying to connect to the people who you can help. And you're trying to connect with them in a way where they can relate to you, where you don't have to come outside of yourself to do it. You know, if you have to put on an act to be that thing for folks, then something's wrong, because at a certain point, the curtain's going to close on your act. So you've got to be able to be genuine about things. We're talking about mastering your media, cultivating sustainable relationships. Neil, I see you've come to the floor. Love to hear what you've got to share, bro, and whatever value you got. Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Neil Christie. I'm a communications specialist. I'm into advertising. Been a creative director most of my life. And I just feel that we need to answer this question that whether we feel that mankind generally is good or bad. We should start off from there. And our answer to that reflects us personally, because if we think, and I'm not saying that we should answer it in a particular way, but if we think that it's bad, we should be, looking inwards and trying to figure out that how we can sort it out. And that's the perspective that I feel. I personally feel that mankind generally is good, and you encounter people from all different walks of life, and you have to tackle them differently. But if generally you're putting out positive vibes, you'll get those. And I feel that on this platform, Clubhouse, I was talking to my friends yesterday also. One of them is here in the speakers section. I want to say shout out to her. Where she? So I was telling her that, I feel that the innocence of the app is also translating into members on Clubhouse. So I've encountered really nice people on Clubhouse, maybe nicer people on Clubhouse than in real life. So for me, it was such an interesting experience that it has restored my faith in humanity. I've met more genuine people than ever before, and I've encountered more genuine people than fake ones on Clubhouse. So, and one reason why I feel that is there is because I feel that the platform is also somehow, I can't find the right words, but there's they are absorbing the positive energy of the platform, which is right now very genuine, very innocent, not too commercial, things like that, that is going in the speakers and the people that we have. I'm done speaking.
Thank you for that share. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'd like to throw a question out there. What would you say, like, if you were to give 1 to 3 tips or mindsets around what you should look to be doing when it comes to building and sustaining relationships? Yeah, what would be the one key that you would say? If you could only do one thing, what would that be? That's to the floor.
I would say the number one tip is to learn to love yourself. When you learn to truly love yourself and set boundaries and how to actually operate to your true value, know yourself, be able to just release a different level of love into every situation, be sincere, operate in your true self, because I do feel like a lot of people who are unable to relax and comfortably be themselves, be assertive and things, it all comes from this place of a flawed type of self-love. So I definitely feel like self-love, loving yourself, discovering yourself, understanding yourself, your flaws, your weaknesses, what makes you tick, how to protect yourself, how to give yourself effectively to others, how to communicate, how do I want to be, and what type of person do I want to be to others, but what type of person should I also be to myself? Those are things that are absolutely vital. And sometimes we are so focused on the external side and what other people do. Oh, Jason is this and Jason said that, but it's like, what about me that I attracted Jason? How did I let Jason get away with that for so long? And there's definitely things that when things go wrong, even in relationships, so we feel someone's done something to us, we have to look at where we were and who we are at that as a person that allowed those things to happen as well, and always evaluate ourselves but not just blame others.
That is so true. That's good. How about you, Giovanni? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead. Who are you calling?
No, I was just asking the second half of the dynamic duo what his take is on it.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No worries. No
on
worries.
mic, and I was using my baby for baby size because I was just having fun with her, and I came back out of breath. But what I would say is this. For me, mindset, it boils down to, my wife said, self-love. For me, it boils down to being vulnerable. Because at the end of the day, your vulnerability is what will allow you to be open as well about your inconsistencies, what are your shortcomings, and where you need help. Because it is never inappropriate to ask for help in business. A lot of people tend to bring pride along with them to say, I got it. No, you don't got it. And if you can be vulnerable with the people around you, then you have a support system.
Yeah.
And that support system can build you up. And that vulnerability is what led my wife to, pouring into me so that I could be who I am today. Because at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, my wife activated me. I was never an entrepreneur. I thought I was, but she activated me. And so when I even say to people, just trust what she says.
Yeah.
I say it to them from a place of genuine love because I don't know how the hell she does what she does. But I've seen people sit down with her and in one conversation, they're like, oh my goodness, like you changed my mindset. And I'm like, well, be vulnerable and someone will provide the help that you need to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah, man.
She did it for me, so maybe she can do it for you too. So that's what I would say. If you're out there and you're trying to make that step into business, the right mindset, you should have a vulnerable mindset. Be able to let yourself be expressive. Don't let everybody in, but you need to let it out.
Yes. Love it. I love those sounds in the background too. Chris, you were about to say something, bro.
Hey, I was just enjoying the sound effects, but
Yeah.
that made me smile.
Yeah, me too.
Hearing that sound in the background.
Yeah.
Hey, I was about to join in, spread your arms out, do the motion, do the wave, like I'm flying. Hey, that was
Love
awesome.
it. Love it.
I agree with what both of the champions were just saying, and I love those two things that they were sharing. I would add to it, know your why, and never get too far from it.
Right.
Know what your why is. Why are you even on this platform? Why are you doing what you're doing? Because when you know your why, that's the best. I think one of the best navigation tools that you can have. Because if you're clear about your why, there's some rooms you wouldn't go into. There's some days you wouldn't be on here. You wouldn't spend your time, one of your most important assets, the wrong way because you're clear about your why. And if you know your why on here, you would be connecting with your tribe. I think it's always good to spread out and meet other people. But, you have a tribe. You have people that get you and people you're called to. I like, I can't remember who it was sharing about how they go into the ADHD rooms and just be there, be present and willing to help them.
Right.
Knowing your why. I think that's that sense of fulfillment that comes from that. And knowing that this is a place and space, you can find multiple rooms like that you can go into and add value or just be present. Your presence alone is a lot of value, and sharing your words of comfort and trying to champion people to get to that next level of thriving in whatever they're doing. But knowing your why, I think, is important.
Nice.
So when I come on here, I know what my why is. Why am I here? And if it doesn't align with my why, then I'm not doing it.
Love that. That's good stuff.
Nice.
So I just wanted to add that in the recent 1 year, especially, I was always been very, let's just say, spiritual and close to my religion, which is Catholic. I'm a Catholic. But in the last 1 year, I think I've become closer to almost everything, including God. Closer to my family, closer to my mother, children, wife, even friends, I would say. I've become more open. I was very close. I would hardly share anything with anyone, including my family. My wife wouldn't know what's going on in my head. Certainly my children wouldn't know. So one thing I wanted to add was that I was asking this question from my children also. And I asked them, do you think you lost a year or do you think you gained a year? And most of them, they said, I think we lost 1 year. And I said, no, you didn't lose 1 year. You gained a lot. And then I started to explain them. And I said, top of my list is getting closer to you guys and spending so much time with you, which I would never have done that if there was, no pandemic, if COVID wasn't there. That's the bright side of it. And I won't say I'm glad it happened because millions died and, there's so much problems because of that. But I'm looking at the bright side of it, that I think I've become a better professional. I've become personally better, and even professionally, I feel that I've become better because I've done so many courses and things that I was trying to do. I'm almost done with a couple of other projects that I thought I would finish. I just wanted to add that sometimes a catastrophe can also bring you something good.
That's good.
I'm done speaking.
That's good. Thanks, Neil. That's great. Dana, Chef Dana. He might be working. Okay, good deal. Okay, we'll go to Christopher with your insight as well. He might be working too. All right, good stuff. Harry, what you got to say, bro? We're coming to the close.
Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap this up because I got a show to prepare for.
Yes, you do.
Or we have a show to prepare for.
This is true.
One of my things, it's a combination of everything that you guys have said is understanding. And I've gotten, over the last few years, I've gotten better at understanding. And when I say understanding, I mean understanding what the other person hears and how you say things.
Right.
Because some people, and it happens the vice versa way too. When you're talking to somebody and they're just saying words and you're like, what? What exactly did you say? And, I used to get that, from a spouse, from friends. This was the worst side of me. The first thing was to, you're dumb. You just don't understand English. But the now me is what part of it didn't you understand? Maybe I'm explaining it wrong. So the understanding part of this.
That's good. So you're making sure that clarity is there without having to have the judgment on it, that you've got to understand it the way that I understand things.
Correct.
You seek to make sure that
some people hear it differently.
Correct. Yeah.
You have to, talk their language.
I like that. That's a great shift.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
I'll take your leave. Thank you for all this, for the conversation.
Yeah.
Dazzling, good to see you guys. Harry, good to see you. Chris, Chef Dana, good to see you. Neil, you guys talk. If you guys want to connect later, I'll see you guys later.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Vaishi. You always bring such value. I love your stories.
Thank you.
All
Yes,
right.
yes.
All right. Catch you later. Yeah. Well, I'll say this, that I think the more that we can have real conversations and that we don't make that separation between business and relationship. Sometimes, and I've heard folks say, oh, it's just business. It's only business. And I'm like, it's never only business, because you're dealing with the life on the other side of that business. So if you don't care whether that life succeeds or not, you may be in business, but it's not, I don't believe that it's the highest and best use of the business model. Everybody has their model. But I think that when you combine that with, I truly do care about your best interest, I truly do care that you succeed. So therefore, what I do, I cannot violate that caring for doing something that is going to take away from that. I've got to be as invested as a business owner in your legacy and your forward movement as you are. And that way we're partnering together to help you get to that finish line. If I only look at you as a dollar sign to see how I can get from you, I'm going to have to go through a lot of numbers, because if I burn you, then I burn the next person. Eventually, either I'm going to just continue to burn people and, create a lot of bad will, or I'm going to cease to be in business. So from a self-preservation standpoint, if you don't see it anywhere else in any other way, look at it from that standpoint that I need to make sure that you're preserved to make sure that I'm preserved. If you want to go to a higher place, though, then I want to see you preserved and flourish because it's just the right thing to do. If everybody had what they needed in life and were secure, maybe this world would be better because people would just naturally care about each other. So that's my take on it. Love these spaces, y'all. Love the conversation. Any closing words? Now's the time. Chris, was that you? Or are you just clapping?
Oh, just clapping, man.
Okay, good stuff. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything else to say, I would love if you all come back next week. We do this every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, and 4 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about mastering your media, the series. And I believe that mastering your media really is more than just what you do in marketing, what you do in your media planning for your business. I think that it really is more to do with the internal aspect, the internal conversation that takes place. And just like how Dazzlin was saying that you really need to start by loving yourself. If you love yourself truly, and if you trust that, what God has for you is for you, you wouldn't have to play a zero-sum game. You don't have to lose in order for me to win. And so we can participate in this journey of life together. I can do what it is that I've been given, the gift that I have in business, and it can benefit you, and you're going to benefit somebody else. So can I help you succeed so that others who are supposed to be touched by your life can succeed without saying that it has to directly benefit me? I say yes, because that's going to automatically come back to me anyway in another form. So there's my take on it.
Jason, can I ask you a question? And I'm assuming because there's no way to connect, and I'm in the middle of the room, but I conduct a few rooms on the title is Brand Controversies, and I'm an advertising professional. So I do some rooms, and we discuss controversies related to brands. So if you would join us as a speaker, that would be a privilege for us to hear you speak over there also.
I would love to, Neil.
So I'm going to send you details.
Okay.
And if you can, that would be great.
Awesome. All right, Neil. Look forward to contacting you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Chanel, I see that you I hope that I pulled you up. I hope you were raising your hand to come to the floor.
Yes.
All right, good stuff.
It was this time. The first time was because it was
Right.
Right. I just wanted to thank you and Harry. And I'm glad Harry got his beautiful face up now, because the first time I met him, he didn't have a photo up.
Right.
And I'm very happy about that. Yes. So as soon as I saw you, I was just like, oh, I'm so happy I get to see you.
Yeah, Harry's like one of those slow growth redwoods, it just, in 1,000 years, it'll all be there, but it'll be good.
Yes. And then my other question is, because I have been here previously, and I know there's always a topic around mastering your media.
Yeah.
What will be next week's?
Next week, I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Okay.
It'll be good. I know that much because we'll have conversation around it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. I mean, I do have to bell on for you guys. We actually are Eastern Standard Time. So I literally just got out of a room at 4:00. And I'm so glad you pinged me, because I wound up opening up a room and we were all there. I think it was me, Chef Dana, Natasha, a prostitute. We all were there. And I said, hey, you guys, Jason has a room, let's go. So we closed that room and came right over so we could be a part of the conversation.
I so appreciate that, Chanel. You're awesome.
Oh, no problem. Always tell them you have so much content and so much good to say. So we need to follow you. And I did inbox your other two moderators, because I did have questions while I was down below. So they do have stuff in their DM.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chanel. I love your support. Love what y'all do in Culinary Cousins. And, we got it. We really have to reach our marketplace with some real stuff so that, as people are looking for answers and solutions, they don't get taken advantage of because of the fear, and every time I see one of those triggers being used, scarcity and all of that when it's not real scarcity. If it is real, then I'm okay with it. When it's not, it gets on my nerves. So yeah, Harry and I and Chris have had conversations that range into hours on people need to know the foundation of things. And that way they can make educated decisions as opposed to getting a teaspoon of information being dropped into the middle of the content and then having to fish their way out for the quote unquote, and I'm using the air quotes, Giovanni, on this one, the experts to tell them how to get out only if it's at the end of this 1995 training. And then you get that. And then the next thing is, oh, did you want tires with the car? Okay, that's another 1995. Hey, you know what? It'll be better if you come and go to a resort with us. That'll be, 20,000 or 30,000. And before you know it, you're still stuck because you don't have the foundational information. Drives me crazy because it's not hard to learn how to be a human in business. And really, when you boil it down, everything that you do in marketing is to get in front of the conversations that we're having right now. It is to find the people that God has designed you for so that you can deliver the value that he has fashioned you to deliver. So if you get that straight, then it really is no wrong or right way to approach the conversation so long as you connect. So.
Well, Jason, we do have one of the candy makers speaking on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will ping you so you can be a part of that conversation. It's the human side of chefing.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
I would love if you were able to come over and, just speak with, it should be me, Daria, and Jordan Tepper. He actually scheduled it.
Okay.
And we have also another one tomorrow for simple sourdoughs with Victoria at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and she's in the UK.
Okay.
So she wants to speak on that. So we do have things scheduled for this week.
Okay, yeah, definitely ping me. I'll reach out in the inbox so I can get the time so I can put it in my calendar. That way I, don't get caught up in anything else.
Okay. Not a problem.
Thanks, Chanel.
You're welcome.
Right.
Thank you, Chanel.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, on that note, if nobody else has anything to say or to add, I do appreciate the value that has come into the room on a consistent basis. Dazzlin, Giovanni, you all in my heart. And, you sealed the deal when you had your baby in the background. I mean,
well, she's my assistant. But I would like to leave you guys with one last thought. I share this everywhere I go.
Yes.
I always encourage everyone to see compliments and not competition.
Yes.
Because it is in the spirit of collaboration
that
we help each other to move forward.
That's right. That's right. Great share. Great share. Yes. Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
Yes.
Mic
drop
the phone.
Right.
Right.
No, we can't do that one. This is an iPhone. This is all glass.
Oh, you got the glass one, yeah.
Must have been a Samsung version.
Right.
Yeah.
A Mac hater.
I'm a Mac hater.
Nice.
I got this iPhone just to get on Clubhouse.
Right. True story. True story. All right, y'all. So next week, 1 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, we're doing Mastering Your Media. Not exactly sure what that's going to be. As we dial everything in and see, I mean, and I think that we're getting into the flow better now over these past few weeks. We'll have a schedule on what we're going to be talking about. And that way, if you all have something to share or something to ask, it'll give you enough lead time to formulate that. All right. But I do appreciate y'all hanging with us and showing up, week after week and adding your value. It's been invaluable to me. I've learned so much and I will continue to learn over the time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank everyone. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. And for all of you who are in the audience, if you have found value in anything that anybody has shared up here and you want to bless them with a follow, go ahead and do that. And, hope to see you next week as well. Harry, you were about to say something. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
You also, thank you.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for having us.
Thanks again, y'all.
Thank you. 1 2 1 2. Y'all hear me? Let's see if the speakers are going to the right place. Yeah. You there, Chris? You here?
Oh, cool.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
I got a few minutes. I got to jump on another call in a
Oh,
little
hold on
bit.
1 second, y'all. Let me end it over here.
You guys out here stealing audio.